everyone, I'm Dr. Z. I'm a clinical psychologist specializing in transgender care. Welcome to my channel. Let's talk today how to deal with individuals in your lives who are telling you it's a choice. You're making a choice. You are transitioning because you're making a choice. You are choosing to be transgender. All of the things people tend to say to you when you decide to come out. Let's talk about how to actually approach, how to deal with these individuals, and what they may be implying when they tell you that you are making a choice. I know that for a lot of people, when they start transitioning, this concept of you making a choice may come across by, especially, it may come across by family. It could be your parents if you're adults and you're coming out to your parents as adults, even as adults, already adulting and living your life. You may have parents who are telling you you're making a choice. You're being selfish. Selfish oftentimes accompanies the concept of choice. You're being selfish. You're thinking about yourself. Don't you realize how much pain you're causing us? Don't you realize? Oh, I heard it all, especially if you have older parents. Oh my God, I heard it all. I heard where your older mom might say, don't come out to that, you just might kill him, or don't come out to your mother, this is going to be the end of her, guilting you into being yourself, as if you being yourself really is so powerful that you're going to literally kill your parents. I mean, come on, really. But I heard it all, and I heard where especially partners, if you're in a relationship and you've been in a relationship for a long time, maybe you're married, maybe you've been domestic partners in a long time and you have children. I heard it many times where the partners, your spouses, may say something to the effect of, you being so selfish, you're going to destroy family, you're going to ruin our kids. Again, as if you're so powerful by the sheer force of being yourself to cause so much destruction. And again, this concept of selfish, right? You're selfish for being who yourself. You don't have to do this. All of this really is kind of concepts that tend to have only one aim. The aim is to guilt you into feeling tremendous amount of guilt, of shame, so that way you don't have to rock their boat of comfort, right? So these people are on a boat of their own selective comfort, and you being yourself suddenly is making them uncomfortable, because either A, they have to maybe your parents have to now understand and educate themselves about what transgender is. Maybe your partners are going to have to also go through the process of work to think and ask themselves whether this is something doable for them, whether they still want to be married to or stay together with a transgender partner. And again, people don't like change. People don't like when they are being shifted from the comfort of the status quo, when they're being shifted out of complacency, out of the place that has been cushioned for them. They don't like that. None of us really like that. But the reality is that things in life happen, and important things such as gender dysphoria happens, and it doesn't happen by choice. We know all of this. Nobody wakes up. I have yet to see an adult who woke up one day, unless you're having some kind of psychotic episode, which is so ridiculously rare, have yet to see an adult who wakes up and who says, I'm gonna choose thousands of dollars transition and all of these challenges and struggles that come along with it because I'm making a choice, and because that sounds like so much fun. Oh my God, it sounds so exciting, so much fun to transition. Humor my sarcasm here, you understand. So as you know, nobody really wakes up feeling and thinking like that, that it's just something doesn't happen. So it's very common for people around you to say you're making a choice. Choice is being thrown a lot. There's lots of reasons why choice is being thrown out a lot. One of the reasons why choice is being thrown out a lot is because our society refuses to recognize transgender phenomenon as medical condition. Our society, while the oxymoron of our society, while having medical doctors, not psychologists, PhD doctors like myself, but medical doctors, who put diagnosis of gender dysphoria and prescribe you medical treatment for it in the form of hormones, right? Our society still refuses to recognize it's medical treatment when clearly you get medical treatment for it. Our society refuses to recognize it as a medical treatment while there's already insurances and insurance policies in place to cover this as medical necessity of you getting better. Who cover not only medical services in form of hormones, but to cover this in surgical services. Of course, not all surgeries know that, but you know what I mean. This is oxymoron of our society. So we have medical doctors who medically diagnose you, prescribe you medical treatment, and yet we're not really acknowledging it as a medical treatment. We still see it as a choice. I just don't know how so many doctors got fooled into following a choice and prescribing you something because you just have a choice, you just choose. Let's not confuse informed consent model for a choice. You're still not choosing. You are exercising informed consent in order to make an informed decision for yourself by stepping into the treatment. Any medical treatment you can opt out of. Even if your doctor prescribes you chemotherapy because you have cancer, you can still opt out and practice your own voluntary decision agency, if you will, and opt out of it. So informed consent is also not part of a choice. But somehow socially, culturally, we like to be bombarded with this idea of a choice. People choose to be transgender, just like people used to say people choose to be gay. Okay, whatever. It's not a choice. And I know that I'm preaching to choir because all of you know it's not a choice. But so what do you do when your family and everybody around you throws around this choice? Well, for one, recognize that it's throwing around this choice because stupidly they're following some kind of, you know, this concept that has been flushed out and wrinkled out and just it's just really silly when people say it these days, and I think it just makes them look silly. But one of the things you need to realize, and here's what people ask me a lot, they say, how do I deal with it? How do I deal and confront people who say it's a choice? How do I prove to them that it's not a choice? How do I showcase them that it's not a choice? The truth is you don't. You really don't. You don't. There's no way you can prove to them it's not a choice, and here is why. There are people in the world today, and the world is changing, by the way. The world, by far, while it is still transphobic and ignorant, not educated, it's still changing. It's changing because we have social media. It's changing because we have internet. It's changing because so many people can look up and learn information. And because more people learning information, we're having more and more people who are understanding that it is not a choice. They still may not understand gender phenomenon. They still may not fully understand what causes it. But there's a lot more people who no longer see it as a choice. So when you come across people who still do see it as a choice, I want you first and foremost to recognize, one, you cannot change their mind. The reason why you cannot change their mind is because if they already see it as a choice, they already made it up in their headspace, in their mind, that this is something that is not a medical condition, that this is not something that you were either born with, it's not something that you're struggling with on this neurological, on this kind of chemical, biological level. They see it as a whim. You're having temper tantrum. You're having existential crisis. You're having middle-age crisis. It's a choice. They see it as so stupidly simplistic as, I choose to put, oh, you choose to put on red lipstick on today. Yeah, that's a choice. Of course, it's a clear choice. There's no necessity for me to put on red lipstick. The same way they see that, oh, you choose to wear the big rim glasses. Of course, I choose to wear big rim glasses because I like them. There's no medical necessity for me, well, other than I need prescription glasses, to wear such large glasses. It's a freaking choice. Now, do you choose to go through gender transition? No, you don't. So when people look at it that way, they already in their mind only see it as not a medical condition. Because they don't see it as medical condition, they're not taking it seriously. They're not taking it as life-threatening, and they're definitely not taking it as something that pains you, that causes you tremendous amount of pain and suffering. With these people, there's no arguing, there's no debating, there's no proving wrong. Maybe somehow down the road in their lives they will gain some enlightenment and some level of insight, and they realize how wrong they have been. I hope they do. A lot of times they don't, because they have this strong biased point of view toward transgender individuals. I don't necessarily want to call it transphobia, because I think today I hear a word transphobia thrown around a lot, and I see it being diluted from its essence and it's from its meaning. There's a lot of people who are just simply they're not really aware. There's a lot of people who genuinely want to learn and asking questions. So there's a lot of people who really not transphobic, and then there's obviously a lot of people who are. So I want to be careful not to throw it around as people who think it's a choice are being transphobic. I think people who think it's a choice are really demonstrating and exercising a very clear, it's not even ignorance, it's almost like a level of, I really want to call it stupidity. I don't want to offend, but I don't think it's ignorance. Ignorance, we don't know something, and then when we learn, we do know something, and we're no longer here for ignorant of the fact that we know something. Stupidity is, or common, maybe lack of common sense is a better word. They're really lacking common sense, because for anybody who is an insightful, somewhat insightful individual human being, somewhat insightful, somewhat mindful individual human being, again, they can say, I don't understand it. I don't get it. How are there people who are born feeling such incongruency? I don't get it. How is it that within people's brains, they don't feel aligned with their gender assigned at birth? But yet at the same time, sorry, I'm getting flushed out. Yet at the same time, I also see that it's obviously not a choice, because I'm insightful enough to see how painful transition is for this individual. So why would anybody choose that? So it's simply lack of common sense. And let's throw stupidity in there too, because it really is. I mean, I don't know what else to call it. And if there's people who are watching this, who are not transgender, who still think it's a choice and saying, you're being judgmental, you're calling me stupid, well, it's as simple as that. Transition is costly. Transition for adults is painful. Transition for adults is, it's difficult, it's challenging, and people lose a lot. People lose a lot as a result of transition, one way or another. And it is, if you cannot see how that is not something that people wake up and choose, then I have no other way but to call it lack of common sense and stupidity. So I want you to all recognize that there's no arguing, there's no debating, there's no proving to these people. You're talking to people who don't have common sense, and you know, they're like on a different development with you. They're different wavelengths with you, and the best is just not be in relationship with those people, or minimize your relationship with those people if you can, and find a relationship with people who are insightful, who are able to say, yeah, it just makes no sense how it's a choice. It makes no sense at all. No sense at all. Just like sexuality is not a choice, it makes no sense. Obviously, it is an innate preference for a lot of people. So recognize you cannot debate, you cannot prove to them wrong. They already set up their mind, and they already do not see it as medical condition. As long as they don't see it as medical condition, as long as they continue to see it as a choice, as something as simple as me putting on red lipstick, which is very reductionistic, very simplistic, and very, very wrong way to go about it, they're not going to be able to recognize. So, sorry, I wish I had some magical, here's how you deal with those individuals tutorial, or here's how you can really turn their concept of it's not a choice to suddenly realizing, oh my goodness, you're right, it's not a choice. But there's no such thing, and they already made up their mind, and I really wish that they will unwind and undo their mind. But that's just simply my wish for all of us as human beings to be more kinder and to be much more insightful and much more mindful. So comment below, let me know, have you ever managed to change somebody's mind when they tell you it's just a choice? Who are in your life right now who still thinks it's a choice? How do you tend to approach them? How do you tend to deal with them? So comment below, let me know. Love hearing, love listening to all of your thoughts, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.